The night the CEO decided to pretend she was asleep, she thought she was testing loyalty. She never imagined she was about to uncover a truth so raw, so quietly devastating, that it would change the way she saw people forever. Because what she heard in the silence of that dim office wasn't just a whisper, it was a father's breaking heart, and it froze her where she lay. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of ordinary people, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stories like this remind us that sometimes the most powerful moments happen when no one thinks they're being watched. Claire Whitmore had built her reputation on precision. As the CEO of a fast-growing tech company in Chicago, she was known for her sharp instincts and relentless standards. Nothing escaped her notice: missed deadlines, careless mistakes, even the subtle ways employees cut corners when they thought no one was looking. She believed people revealed their true selves when they thought they were alone. And lately, she had been wondering if that included everyone, even the janitor who worked the night shift. His name was Marcus Hale, a quiet man in his early 40s with tired eyes and a permanent gentleness about him. He had been working in the building for just over 6 months, arriving every evening after most employees had gone home. He kept his head down, spoke little, and did his job thoroughly. Too thoroughly, Claire thought. It almost felt rehearsed, like someone trying too hard to appear honest. There had been whispers among the staff, not complaints, just curiosity. Some said he stayed later than necessary. Others noticed he sometimes paused in empty offices, standing still for long moments. Claire didn't tolerate uncertainty. If something didn't make sense, she investigated. So one night, long after the building had emptied, she stayed behind. She turned off the lights in her office, loosened her posture on the couch, and positioned herself as if she had fallen asleep while working late. Her laptop remained open, a few documents scattered around, just enough to make the scene believable. Then she waited. The minutes stretched into an hour. The building settled into that eerie quiet that only comes after midnight. The hum of air vents and distant city sounds filled the silence. Then, finally, she heard it, the soft squeak of a cleaning cart rolling down the hallway. Marcus. He moved slowly, methodically, as he always did. Claire could hear him pause outside her office door. There was a hesitation, just for a second, before the door creaked open. He stepped inside carefully, his footsteps almost apologetic against the carpet. Claire kept her breathing steady, eyes closed, her body perfectly still. She expected him to glance around, maybe tidy up quietly, then leave. That's what anyone would do. But he didn't. Instead, Marcus stood there for a long moment, not moving, not touching anything. Claire could feel his presence, the weight of it in the room. Then, slowly, she heard him set his cleaning supplies down. Another pause. And then, he whispered. At first, she almost missed it. His voice was so soft, so fragile, that it barely carried across the room. But the words hit her like a sudden drop in temperature. He said that he hoped she didn't mind him being there, that he would just clean quickly and leave her to rest. But then his voice changed. It cracked, just slightly, like something inside him was straining to hold together. He began speaking again, but this time not to her. He spoke to someone who wasn't there. He said he had almost made enough for the next treatment. That he was trying, really trying, even though the hours were long and the pay was small. He said he wished he could do more, that he hated leaving her alone at night. And then, after a long silence, he whispered a name. Olivia. Claire felt something shift inside her chest. Marcus continued, still unaware he was being listened to. He said Olivia would be brave, just like she always was. That she didn't need to worry about the hospital, or the doctors, or the bills piling up. He said he would take care of everything. He always had. Then his voice dropped even lower, barely audible now. He said he was scared. That was the moment Claire's carefully constructed test began to crumble. Marcus moved slowly around the office, picking up papers, wiping surfaces, but he kept speaking under his breath. He spoke about his daughter's smile, about how she used to run around their small apartment pretending it was a castle. He spoke about how she had stopped running now, how she spent more time lying still, her energy fading day by day. Claire felt her throat tighten. This wasn't what she expected. She had planned to catch a mistake, a sign of dishonesty, maybe even theft. Instead, she was witnessing something deeply human, something she wasn't prepared for. Marcus finished cleaning the desk and moved toward the couch where Claire lay. For a brief, terrifying moment, she thought he might realize she was awake. But he only stood there, looking down at her. Then he whispered again. He said she reminded him of Olivia, not in appearance, but in the way she looked when she was tired. He said people who worked too hard often forgot to rest, and that it wasn't right. Claire's chest tightened even more. Then came the words that froze her completely. He said he had seen the company's donation program on the website. He knew employees could apply for assistance in emergencies. But he couldn't bring himself to ask. Not because he didn't need help, but because he felt there were probably others who needed it more. He said he would figure it out on his own. He always did. Silence filled the room after that. Marcus picked up his supplies, took one last look around, and quietly left the office. Claire didn't move for a long time. When she finally opened her eyes, the room felt different. Smaller somehow. Heavier. Her test had revealed something, yes, but not what she expected. It had revealed her own blindness. The next morning, Claire arrived earlier than usual. She had barely slept. The image of Marcus, standing alone in that dim office, whispering into the silence, refused to leave her mind. She began asking questions, not publicly, not in a way that would embarrass him. Quiet inquiries. Discreet checks. What she discovered made her stomach sink. Marcus was indeed a single father. His daughter, Olivia, was 8 years old. She had been diagnosed with a rare illness months ago. The treatments were expensive, far beyond what his modest income could support. He worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices at night and doing maintenance work during the day, just to keep up with the mounting bills. And he had never asked for help. Claire sat in her office, staring at the report in front of her. For the first time in years, she felt uncertain, not about business decisions, but about herself. She had built an empire by analyzing people, by testing them, by assuming she understood what drove them. But she had been wrong. Completely wrong. That evening, she made a decision. Instead of another test, she chose something different. She waited again, but this time she didn't pretend to sleep. When Marcus entered her office, he froze, clearly startled to see her there. Claire stood up slowly, her usual composure replaced with something softer, something more human. She didn't mention the night before. She didn't expose what she had heard. Instead, she thanked him. For his work. For his dedication. For the care he showed even when no one was watching. Marcus looked confused, almost uncomfortable. He wasn't used to being noticed. Then Claire told him about the company's assistance program. She explained that it existed for moments exactly like this. That it wasn't charity, it was support. A system designed to help people when they needed it most. At first, Marcus hesitated. The same quiet resistance Claire had heard in his whisper surfaced again. But this time, she didn't let him retreat. She told him something she hadn't admitted to anyone before, that strength wasn't just about enduring alone. Sometimes, it was about allowing others to stand beside you. There was a long silence. Then Marcus nodded. And just like that, something shifted. Over the following weeks, Claire ensured that Marcus received the support he needed, not just financially, but emotionally. The company rallied quietly around him, contributing without making a spectacle of it. Olivia began receiving better treatment. Her condition stabilized, then slowly improved. But the biggest change wasn't in Marcus's life. It was in Claire's. She started seeing her employees differently, not as variables to be tested, but as people with stories she might never fully understand. She began listening more, assuming less. And for the first time, her leadership wasn't driven solely by control, but by compassion. Before we reach the end of this story, take a moment and comment below. Have you ever judged someone too quickly, only to discover you were completely wrong? Months later, on a bright spring afternoon, Marcus stood in Claire's office again. This time, he wasn't there to clean. He was there to say thank you. Olivia was getting better. Not completely healed, not yet, but stronger, brighter, more like the little girl he remembered. Claire listened quietly, a small smile on her face. As Marcus left, she found herself thinking back to that night, the whisper that had frozen her, the truth she hadn't been meant to hear. It had changed everything. And maybe, just maybe, that was the point. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of the unseen battles people fight every day, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps keep stories like this alive, and reminds the world that kindness still matters.